This is just an attempt, really, with a relatively new phone, relatively new camera to see if I can still record films. And I've done films before regarding sort of coping with pain and sort of overcoming this and coming to terms with it and sort of dealing with it. And I thought that what I would do, I suppose, most of the time when you're inclined to do these kind of films, you probably think, well, I'll wait until I've gathered my thoughts. I'll wait until I'm in a sort of positive space, and then I will make a film that will be super cool, or whatever. And I'm not feeling any of that today. So I figured I'll make a film. I'll shoot a film, and it'll be what it will be, really. Um, and I suppose the point of doing that is that if anything, if I could get any kind of feedback, it would be that that anything that I do in the way of films discussing sort of coping with pain and managing that and trying to live with that and have a normal, whatever you want to call it, life, would have some meaning for other people. So that in itself would be motivation for me to make films and to talk about this subject, because I think a lot of the time, I think people, I mean, if anybody looks at me, they wouldn't know that I have a sort of physical limitation or a disability. And sometimes that's actually a kind of a negative in a way, because if I walked around with a stick or a crutch, or was in a wheelchair, or whatever it was, then there would be something about how I looked that would tell people, he's different, or he's got a problem, and therefore we need to be aware of that, or take that into consideration. But I don't have that. It's not something that I have. Um, but then on the other hand, it is what it is. And it I had a quite a busy day yesterday, and I hadn't realised physically how much that had impacted on me, and how much that had sort of affected me physically. And I think when your body becomes physically fatigued, then what happens is your brain is dulled, and it takes time for your brain to kind of catch up, and your brain becomes sort of tired as well. And therefore your mental processes and everything that you're trying to deal with just take longer, and it's harder to think clearly and to focus on things. And I suppose I was just kind of just feeling really frustrated, and I've not really got a handle on the day, and I've not achieved the things that I wanted to do. And it's very difficult, I think, when you are almost, if you like, at the beck and call of something like pain, because you might have all kinds of plans and ideas about what you want to do and how you want to achieve them, and then your body and your mind just completely works in another way. And sometimes you just have to go with the flow. You just have to go with the flow and accept that, and deal with that, and not fight against that. Um, and I think a lot of the time when we're in pain and we're feeling pain, and we're suffering. I think the thing you want to do is you just want to hide away. You don't want to converse with people. You don't want to have a conversation. You don't want to engage with people or the world at large, because you can feel very vulnerable. You can feel very isolated, and I think sometimes you think that feeling vulnerable and feeling like that shows on the outside, and I think there are times when this is true, and people just sense it. They just think, oh, you're a bit quiet, or you're a bit down. Is everything okay, and all that kind of thing. And sometimes you just don't want to get into that conversation. Um, so it's a very difficult thing, and I think it's important to understand that you will have difficult days, difficult times, and moments like this, and I made a vow to myself, sort of years ago, that if someone asked me how I was, I would answer honestly. I think, that thing where you just say, "Oh, everything's okay, I'm fine," "Oh yeah, no, it's all right," sort of thing. It doesn't serve any purpose, because all you're doing is denying, how you really are. And you don't have to go into a massive explanation or an over explanation to people, but you can tell them, and sometimes I've got very simple solutions for that, and I just say, well, I've been better and I've been worse, and often that is the truth, and that might be it, and that's as far as the conversation goes, and that's okay. People are busy and they've got their own lives and stuff to deal with, and probably not that interested anyway. So it it's just one of those days. I kind of look for the positive in each day, and one of my mantras in the morning is, I look at each day as a gift, and I look at what I'm going to learn this day, and it might not be an actual activity that I might learn, like learning a language or something like that, but maybe I'll learn a lesson. Maybe I'll learn something about myself, or about the world, or people, or whatever it is. And then I reflect on that, and I find reflection is a very useful thing, because sometimes we're not sure, how we feel about things, or what our thoughts are, until we've processed it a little bit. So anyway, if I'm rambling, it's because I have pain, and I'm feeling pain, and I am struggling. So apologies for that. But I just thought I would share this in that kind of spirit. Um, you know, uh, every day is different. Things are not necessarily perfect, and that, but we just have to kind of be positive, and focus on what we can do, and not be so hard on ourselves when we don't achieve the things that we want to do. Okay, so I'll say take care, and I'll leave you in peace.